Hello and welcome. My name is Craig Lund and I am the Vice President of Mentorship at AMA Toronto. And this is the Empowered Marketer, a show where we bring together leaders in the marketing world to share their experience and help empower your leadership potential. Today I'm sitting here with Kristi Knowles. Hi, Kristi.
Hey, how you doing, Craig?
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Kristi happens to be the CEO of a plant-based company called Mother Raw. She has an impressive career as a marketer, working for companies such as Molson, Coors, as well as Campbell Soup, where she worked in marketing and innovation roles. She is especially proud of becoming a vegan.
Yes, I am especially proud of becoming a vegan, and I'm glad you brought that up so early in the interview.
Well, it's going to have a theme, I'm sure, throughout this one. So for those who don't know you very well, what is a day in the life of what you are doing right now?
Yeah, oh my goodness. It varies a lot. So as the CEO of a scrappy startup, no day, no moment is the same. So just as an example, today I had about 13, maybe 15 people in my house. My team, outside suppliers helping us with content development for our new website, as well as content for the next couple of months. So that was like chaos, but beautiful and fun. Tomorrow, sales strategy. The next day, board meeting prep. So it really is, every day is a different day.
So you are the Chief Everything Officer.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So when people say, oh my goodness, you're the CEO, it's like, yeah, the Chief Everything Officer. It's not as glamorous as it seems, but I'm really proud to be in this role.
So something that AMA is very involved with is in helping mentors and mentees find each other here in the industry. In fact, that's how we met each other.
It is, yes.
I got you involved with Mentor Exchange years ago.
Yes.
So looking at your career, who were the mentors that made you who you are today?
Yeah, oh my goodness. They mean so much to me. So, in fact, the first people from Unilever that I interviewed with on campus at Queen's, Stephen Curry and Jan Mollenhauer, remain mentors today. So they're the ones who gave me my first shot. And my first 8 years in Unilever, they were there supporting me from the sidelines. I didn't report to them directly, but they just brought me along. And I appreciate that to this day. And in fact, just recently talked to Stephen. So there's an example of how deep that the mentorship goes. And then when I was at Campbell Soup Company, one of the presidents at the time, Brian Mursky, he was a big champion of mine. At the same time, he was hard on me. He was like tough love kind of guy, and he's the guy that I call when I'm going through a career change or I'm having a leadership challenge. And so those mentorship relationships from way back when have been really important to my success today.
Well, so speaking of leadership, we think of mentorship as a leadership capability at AMA. So, what would you say your defining leadership characteristics are?
Yeah, and it's evolved a little bit over time, right? So I came from a place in the 90s, early 90s, as like a woman in the executive ranks trying to push through my point of view and my beliefs. And so grit was my very much my thing. And I define grit as guts, resiliency, inventiveness, and tenacity. And I pride myself on having those kind of qualities and perseverance and getting through it. And as I've evolved in my career, I also realized that, it's progress over perfection, patience and persistence. It's not like just grit is going to get you there. And so it's sort of like this notion of grit and grace. And one of the things that I like to talk about is leading with heart, which is you can be strong and you can have that grit, but doing it through the context of your heart and authenticity and connecting with others gets you further than sort of grit alone. And so I kind of think about it as this notion of like grit and grace is my leadership philosophy.
I want to go back to something you said about women in a man's world. I mean, you were beverage alcohol at a beer company, and it's no secret that was a very bro culture, very white male culture. How did you have such a successful career for so long at that company?
Yeah. And I mean, I even go back to my Unilever years where I started my career. I was the first female sales leader in the Canadian organization in the food side. And at the time, I kind of didn't think much of that. It was like, yeah, okay, yeah, great, I got here. And even when I was in the beer culture, like in that culture, I had a lot of great male leaders around me as well. But what I realize, now is that one of the things that was undervalued in what I brought, and I think it, brought as a woman, was that I brought emotion to the table, and I could read other people's emotions and bring that into the conversation, as well as bring my emotion into the conversation in a measured responsible of a way, all this. But at the end of the day, like I that was undervalued.
Emotions in business? What?
I know. The B word comes up, right? Oh, that's an emotional response, whereas a man can bang the table, a woman can say that's not right, and oh, she's just being emotional. And I very much believe that it's one of my roles going forward, based on my experiences, to bring other female leaders along and to lean into what makes us women and what makes us authentic. And part of that is like being real and not trying to shade things.
I love that, leaving a place at the table for the next person.
Yeah.
So obviously, everybody assumes that they're going to have a lovely, smooth sailing career.
Yeah.
These things like potholes hit us here and there. Career stagnation can happen. So, what happened for you? Is that ever something that ever came up?
Yeah. Well, what I would say, first of all, of course, there's lots of potholes, like in life. Life is full of potholes. And so are, I think so are careers. I was very fortunate that I decided, early in my career, even at Unilever, that I started in marketing, but I thought when I did my sales training, which was part of the fabulous ABM curriculum, they used to have it, maybe they still have it, I hope they still have it at Unilever, I went into the sales organization to do sales training. And I decided, you know what, after 6 months of sales training, I haven't learned enough to be a better marketer. And I was given the opportunity to stay in sales, and I actually ran the regional sales office for the Atlantic region of Unilever, like way back when, because I decided I'm not gonna hit a pothole. I'm gonna go towards what's new, and that was hard. Like, I was a single woman living in Moncton, New Brunswick. Like, hello, that was hard at a young age, but I did it, thinking the pothole I'm gonna hit is I'm gonna be like every other marketer who comes out of this Unilever program. I want to have done something different. So, I was able to sort of always bring some interest to my career by not just staying on one path or the expected path. When I hit the pothole of, do I want to stay with a big company or do I want to try something else? That was difficult because there's a lot of good things, a lot of great things about working for a big organization. But I hit the pothole of, I just want to have an impact. I just want to make a difference. And sometimes in big companies, that becomes really difficult. There's a lot going on that maybe we don't understand the context, or there's a lot of politics and whatever. And I just kind of hit this road where whatever I want to do next, I want to have a direct impact. And that's how I kind of found myself doing what I'm doing now, being CEO of a scrappy emerging brand, that literally, like, what we do every day is the impact that we have.
And the biggest thing you don't have at little scrappy companies is gigantic budgets to throw marketing dollars at.
Yeah. I mean, even when I worked at a beer company, you would assume that you have these massive budgets, but it never seemed like enough, right? It never did. But now I realize, oh my goodness, how humbled I am. But we make it work. And you know what? We're lucky that we have great venture capital partners. So we have investment to grow. So we're, that's good. At the same time, it's nothing like being able to go out and buy national media. And so we're fighting it out every day.
So how did you end up at Mother Raw?
Yeah, and potholes, right? Like, you never know. Like, are you going to come out with the tire still on your car or not? And this one was basically I was approached by a venture capital partner who had put money into this very, very small but interesting company called Raw Foods. And it was founded by a lovely woman named Michelle Kottman. And Michelle was on the like in the beginnings of the organic, plant-based, clean eating phenomenon. Like she was one of the beginning founders of that as a movement in Canada. Anyway, they saw potential in that area, but they were having trouble sort of getting the brand off the ground as fast as they thought they could. And the food business is tough, right? Really tough. So 6 degrees of separation. They asked me to come in and take a look at the brand and like the business and their thesis. And a couple of months into that, I provided a perspective. And in and around that time, the founder, Michelle, she, unfortunately, regrettably, sadly, tragically passed away. And when a founder passes away, such a small company, it's like the lights go out. Like, what do you do? How do you move? Like, where do you go next? Because she did everything. And that's kind of what happened. It was just like this darkness, like, okay. And I wasn't working for them full time. I was just, consulting, and there were full-time people working there. And that's when sort of it was like the knock, like, Kristi, are you ready? In my mind, are you ready to make the move to actually leap to something entirely different than you've ever done before? And they asked me to come in and do what I'm doing, and that's why I'm there.
And it sounds like you've had some tremendous success. So you've changed the company name.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of work. So the proposition, Michelle was right on: clean, plant-based, allergen-free. But we new name, Mother Raw. We started from the beginning in terms of what's the mission, what's the vision, what's all of that kind of stuff, and that came from my background of how to build a brand from the bottom up. And we have a fantastic team, expertise, like amazing expertise in operations. We self-manufacture, and having that expertise in-house has just been amazing. 100% service levels, on time and in full, even through COVID. I mean, you just don't hear about that. So amazing team. Yeah.
So you've leveraged your brand building roots and taken them to a scrappy little organization.
Yes.
And you've seen this success, and I'm sure that that's a big part of the reason why it was success. So when we talk about, what marketers need to do better, or they keep chasing shiny objects.
Yeah.
What do you think is important as marketers? If you go back to basics, what do they need to really be doing?
Yeah. I think I am so thankful for the grounding that I have as a marketer in terms of, I believe that brands have to continually go back to their roots, right? What is their vision? What is their mission? What is the full story they want to tell? Because with content today, as just fast as it can be developed and delivered, it's really easy to get off course and not get back to, like, what are the roots? What are the key messages we want to land over time? What is that story that we're telling? And brands have many facets, just like people do, but to make sure that you are still, very much grounded in the 4 Ps, right? Your mission, your why, all those kinds of things. At the same time, experimenting beyond that with all that, digital communications afford marketers today, where you're not investing $3 million in one ad and media buy for something. Like, you've got the opportunity to experiment. So I'd say it's getting back to the roots of brand marketing and really understanding the brand strategy, and at the same time experimenting, but really experimenting with digital and testing always, and like what's working, what's not working, and adapting. And I think that's a beautiful thing about where we are today as marketers, is you can do that testing really fast and easy and cheap compared to what it used to be, but don't stray from the roots of what your brand story is.
Thank you. So I'd like to know one more thing, and that is, for all of those people that are not sure about plant-based foods, what is the silver bullet in your arsenal that always appeases the meat eater?
Oh, good one. That's a good one, Craig. Okay. Nothing better than roasted sweet potatoes. This is just one of those. It can be a side hack or whatever. Roasted sweet potatoes, with brand plug here, Mother Raw, like balsamic dressing on it as a marinade, or even like a Caesar on it. Stick that baby in the oven, let it roast to its golden, bring it out, a little bit of maple syrup, salt and pepper, toss it.
Perfect. And where can we buy it?
Mother Raw, well, we're available in Metro, in Sobeys, in Longos, in Fortinos, the Big Carrot, all across Canada.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your experience and story. Wanted to say thank you for watching us today as well. This was the Empowered Marketer, and I'm hoping that you got a little something out of Kristi today to help empower your leadership potential. Thank you.